After surviving nearly the whole of lockdown without buying a watch, I did what any self-respecting watch guy should do. I gave in and bought two. Hi and welcome to Last Watch. Today's video will be a rough and ready double unboxing. The review or reviews will come at a later date, as will the macro shots. Both of today's watches come from Pagani Design and were purchased via their storefront on Aliexpress. If you've seen the thumbnail, then you already know what they are. I'm going to pretend that you haven't, and like me are hanging on tenterhooks waiting for both watches to be unveiled. Let's get on with the unboxing. And here we have two equally sized Pagani Design branded boxes. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's see what's in here. Oh, that's a bit of a giveaway. Nice blue cloth. Let's pretend we haven't seen this watch. I'll just slip it out the box. What else is in here? Pagani Design guarantee card. Nothing on it. And an instruction manual, which I may look at some point. What else? Anything else? Some tags with no information. And onto the watch. This is model number PD1639. It has a case diameter of 43mm, an NH35 movement, and is topped off with a sapphire crystal. It is clearly a homage to the Rolex Hulk and will cost you, depending on what coupons Aliexpress throw at you, around £60 or $75. The bezel action turns quite freely with just the right amount of friction. And it sounds quite decent too. Oh, just a little bit of fluff here. Luckily they've given me a cloth to give it a quick wipe with. We have some tape. Actually there's an abundance of tape on here. And we can remove this to reveal the Pagani Design logo across the deploying clasp. Let's give it a try. Oh, that's quite stiff. That's really stiff. And here we have it. And what looks to be a pretty decent milled clasp. Snaps back into place easy enough. And we can just get a glimpse of the display case back here. Move on to the front of the watch. And the Cyclops makes the date quite legible. Why don't we unscrew the crown and give this beauty a wind? Although I think she was already ticking after I took her out the box. Sorry, did I say she? I should have said he. After all, this is a Hulk. Or at least Pagani's interpretation of the Hulk. Well, let's put the crown back in place. And then we can have a good look at this green dial. Green is definitely the colour. I'll see how I feel about this when I come to review it. Let's move on to box number 2, and there will be no prizes for guessing what's inside here. So we have another cloth. Let's just pretend we haven't seen that watch, but we all know it's coming. Another instruction manual. Don't need that. And another warranty card. And in the bottom of the box, another label with no information. And here we have our second watch. This is model number PD1662. It has a diameter of 40mm, sapphire glass, and a Chinese movement, the Pearl DG5833 GMT, something I really need to look into. It is most definitely a homage to the Rolex Batman. And for the first time on screen, we have both the Batman and the Hulk side by side. Who would you put your money on in a fight? Which one of these superheroes is your favourite? Would you go for the Batman or would you go for the Hulk? I should also add that the Pagani Batman retails for around £77 or $95. I suppose we should make sure that the Batman is working as well. So we'll unscrew the crown here and give it a quick wind. And there we go, we can clearly see that the second hand has started working its way around the dial. I'll give a full in-depth review on both of these watches at some point in the future, but for today it's just a cursory glance. I don't want to spoil you too much. Oh, the bezel action on the Batman here is somewhat tighter than that of the Hulk. I guess that all comes down to personal choice, as many of you might prefer a tighter bezel over a loose one. There also seems to be less back play on this bezel. Well, my first impressions are that the quality of the finish is actually pretty good. Unlike the Hulk, which was an all brush bracelet, we can see that this one is polished down the centre links. And I guess while we're here, I might as well give you some wrist shots, starting with the Batman. For reference, I have a 7-inch wrist. And here we have the slightly larger Hulk. Which one do you prefer? There is an overabundance of plastic covering the entirety of this watch, and I know from past experience that it can be a bit of a nightmare to remove, especially on camera. I'm going to save you several minutes of torture, remove all this plastic off screen, and ironically wrap up today's double unboxing. I've never bought a watch from Pagani Design, so why would I suddenly buy two? I've heard good things about Pagani Design with regards to their bang for the buck, so I thought I'd get one in for review. It was my intention to go big and go bold. Getting a green dial is pretty bold and quite controversial, as green can be somewhat divisive. I can't say it's a colour I would normally consider wearing, but I figured it's a watch that was worth looking at, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it either way. It was while I was checking out the Hulk that I saw Pagani's Batman, and I figured, in for a penny, in for a pound, and I added it to my cart without giving it a second thought. That might seem quite rash, but consider earlier this year I passed up the opportunity to buy the Timex M79, Timex's take on the Batman. That watch cost £249. Both of today's watches combined were approximately £135. That's £114 cheaper than the Timex. The Pagani reviews may give many of you some food for thought. Although I've been lucky enough to have received a few watches for review that are available via the Aliexpress website, up until now I'd never actually made a purchase. I needn't have worried. The Paganis took less than 10 days from door to door, and I was able to track them at every point along their route from China. So much so that I knew when they had cleared customs and were in the hands of the courier who turned up during breakfast this morning. A cup of tea, bacon sandwich and 2 new watches. That's a pretty decent start to anyone's day. I have to fess up that I have recently signed up for the Aliexpress affiliate program, something I should probably have done a year ago when I started reviewing Star-King watches. A bit late to the party there, I guess. If you're interested in either of today's watches, I will add some links in the video description below. Using them won't cost you a penny more, but will earn a small commission for last watch, which as ever will be invested back into the channel. Let me know which of today's superheroes floats your boat, and which one you'd like to see reviewed first. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel, like this video, and it might be a good idea to hit the notifications button. Right, I have a Star-King review to get back to, which was put on hold for today's unboxing. The Railmaster will follow in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video.